The Hunter and the Woodpecker, a storybook based on Indian legend by Crowl. Long ago, there lived a young Sioux brave named Two Eagles. Two Eagles had fallen in love with a beautiful maiden named Wind Dancer. As daughter to the chief, she was proud and spoiled. She had made up her mind that no man in the tribe was good enough for her. Seeing that his friend was sad, Yellowtail decided to ask the young brave what was wrong. "I am in love with a beautiful Wind Dancer," Two Eagles said. "Have you told her how you feel?" asked Yellowtail. "I cannot," he replied. "She has turned away even the bravest of warriors. I am only a poor hunter. I am not worthy of her attentions." Yellowtail scratched his head and thought, "Perhaps if you had some elk medicine, she would notice you." "Elk medicine?" Two Eagles asked. "Hoy," replied his friend, "they say that the elk, wise and swift, owns a great love charm. If a man captures the elk's magic for himself, no woman can resist him. It will also make him a lucky hunter." The next day, Two Eagles gathered up his bow and arrows. He went out searching for the elk medicine. After many hours, he finally sighted his game. He was skilled with a bow, but the elk was clever. It managed to stay just out of range, leading him on and on. Two Eagles was so intent on following his prey that he hardly noticed where he was going. Soon, the forest around him grew dark and strange. The elk had vanished and Two Eagles was lost. It was too dark to find his way home, so the young hunter decided to wait until morning before starting back. He rolled himself up in his warm fur robe and tried to fall asleep, but he could not rest because the forest was full of strange noises. He heard the howling of wolves, the hooting of an owl, and a scary sound of the wind blowing through the trees. Two Eagles lay awake listening to the noises. It was as if he were hearing them for the first time. Suddenly, there came a different sound. It was a sound he had never heard before. It was sad and ghost-like, and Two Eagles wondered what the forest spirit sang to him. It made him afraid, and he pulled the blanket over his head. Before he knew it, Two Eagles was fast asleep. He began to dream about a Red Headed Woodpecker who was singing a song, the same haunting melody the hunter had heard. "Follow me," the woodpecker said. "There's something I want you to see." It was already daylight when the young hunter awakened. Above him, he saw the little woodpecker sitting in a tree. "Come on," the little bird said. "Follow me." Two Eagles started following the bird from tree to tree. Suddenly, he heard the same song that frightened him the night before. Flying towards the sound, the woodpecker danced through the leaves, leading the hunter on. His bright red head made him easy to follow. Finally, the little bird landed in a hollow cedar tree. It began to hammer on one of the branches. Two Eagles watched as it continued to pound, making a noise like a fast-beating drum. Suddenly, there was a gust of wind. It entered the hollow branch and blew out through tiny woodpecker holes. Again, the hunter heard the beautiful melody. "Little friend," Two Eagles said, "let me take this branch home with me. You can always make another if you wish." The woodpecker gave the branch to the young hunter. Two Eagles walked back to his village, bringing no elk medicine, but happy just the same. Later that night, the young hunter slipped away from his village, climbed a lonely hill where he could try out his cedarwood branch alone. While Two Eagles played, his haunting song drifted down from the hills and awakened the beautiful maiden he had long adored. Wind Dancer sat up in her bed. She listened to the wonderful sound. As if by magic, her feet began to move towards the door. She tried to pull back, but her feet kept going. Her head said, "Go slow, go slow," but her feet said, "Faster, faster." She climbed the hill and saw the young men standing in the moonlight. She knew she could not go to him because he was poor, but she couldn't help herself. Like a bee to honey, she was hopelessly lured. Two Eagles was surprised when he saw the young woman, even more so by the smile that brightened her face. She stood there blushing, her eyes full of love. "Young man," she said, swooning, "I am yours forever. Send your gifts to my father, no matter how small. You and I shall marry and make music together." Soon all the young men began whittling cedar branches. Beautiful love music traveled from tribe to tribe, and that's how the flute was brought to the people. Now every man uses it to catch his bride. The end.